That's pretty bad. That's crazy.
In the U.S. or
Texas. Texas. Now, some people in Texas will say, we're in Texas, we're not in the U.S. And then finally, most labs will not get to that point of the Texas lab. The gambler will get tired. All that repeating takes a lot of effort. So after 4 or 5 times, they start looking at their own standard deviation and they decide they hate it. Say, there's something wrong with our standard deviation, I want to get rid of it. Throw it out the window. Let's get somebody else's. And if you look around, you can find somebody else's standard deviation. It's very easy. Go to your EQA survey, grab a group SD there. Grab the manufacturer's range. Go to your peer group, grab your peer group SD. All of those SDs, again, built on the variation of multiple labs. So the SD is big. When you bring it into your lab, what happens to those limits? Your gambling problem goes away, right? But now you have a new problem.
Blind.
Do you really think you catch errors anymore?
No.
This is blind man QC. You push your limits out so wide, who knows? Your effective method of control is not the vials that you get from Randox or Biorad or whomever. The real control flag comes with a phone call. It's the clinician picking up the phone and saying, this number makes no sense. Please tell me there's something you can do to fix this and give me a number that makes sense. You can always go back and say, well, I'm in control. I'm within my limits. But if you looked closely, if you plot the data correctly like that Singapore lab, you realize, no, I wasn't under control. I wasn't in control, I was out. So these behaviors, anorexic QC, gambler QC, blind man QC, we see them in every country in the world. We see them in every kind of institution. It's government, public, private, reference, they all do it. And all of those practices drain your time and effort and resources away from doing real productive work. The good news is that we have the tools to help you reduce or eliminate all of these practices. That's what the rest of my presentation is dedicated to doing. Showing you how to get away from these poor practices to a set of QC operations where you're only alerted when something's really wrong, and when something's really wrong, you act appropriately. But just to dive a little bit deeper into the survey results, 55% of labs said, yes, we still use 2SD limits on some of our tests. Again, that's not a scientific practice, that's a tradition. But we did see that about 3/4 of labs say they use Westward rules on some tests. And if using Westward rules gets you away from 2SD limits, that's a great improvement. But now that we're in the second decade of this century, it's worth examining more closely our use of the Westward rules. If we're using all the Westward rules on all of our tests, that's probably